We have Stifler here. Ask the ladies to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10. We'll go around the table, starting with you. Go ahead, Keep.
3.
Is that like a troll answer? Or?
No, I don't want to say high and then get roasted, and I don't want to say low.
Well, how about say the truth?
No, this is a little game. I see
no
the game
game
that people play.
0 game.
These boys love to say, what do you think you are? She wishes she was a 10. She wishes she was a 9.
Okay, so you do think you're a 10?
No, I didn't say I was a 10.
Oh,
I got self-conscious
You
issues.
just don't take it personally what they say.
Yeah, I know, but I also...
I think you're a 10.
You think I'm a 10?
I think you're a 10.
Thank you. I think you're a 10 too.
Kiss.
What the fuck? What? So, do you want to just, instead of a troll answer, do you want to actually...
I'll say 5 or 6.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I think there's so many more beautiful women in the world, and
Okay.
I think I'm okay.
It's a game. It's a tired narrative. It's just...
It really isn't.
It is.
Your own self-assessment of your physical attractiveness is quite crucial when it comes to dating. If you think you're hot shit, if you think you're a 10, whether you're a guy or a girl, this happens more so to men, but you're gonna face plant into reality. If you think you're hot shit and you're not, reality is gonna come.
So let
especially
people face
men.
plant. Let people face plant.
What do you mean?
It's life. Life teaches you.
Yeah, but why be delusional?
It's a tired... You don't
It's
have
not
to be
tired.
deluded. It is tired. You ask
It's
at
not good to
every
be
show.
delusional.
You don't ask about emotional availability or maturity. You know, you don't mix it up at all. It's just... It's the same thing when guys ask, what do you bring to the table? It's just... And even guys who know game will tell you this. They will tell you this. It's not coming from a man or a straight man. But men who know game know that it's essentially a setup, and they're placing themselves above you and you below. And maybe, I'm not saying all men that ask that question know that or are aware of that, but a lot of them are. That's where it started. It's a power struggle. It's a power
We're
dynamic.
talking about dating, so it is kind of relevant to dating.
What if it changes? Because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like a 10 today. I'm super confident, love myself. And
It's
then
not
other
about
days
your
I'm
confidence,
like, I'm
it's
a
just...
3. I look like a troll, feel like a troll. I feel like it changes and fluctuates too.
It's just predictable. You say something low, okay, you're humble. You say something high, they roast you. It just seems pointless and tired. So
it's really not pointless.
Yeah, I don't give much energy to things that I don't think have much value. So I'm not going to.
So you think? Well, this
rating looks, I don't think really has much value.
Do you think looks is not an important factor when it comes to dating?
For most people, to an extent, it is. Yes, but we don't need to play this game of like. It just feels so. It's just so juvenile. It really.
How is it juvenile? Would you date a guy who's shorter than you?
No.
That's quite literally a measurement.
I'm 5 feet tall.
A man could still be shorter than you, and I assume you have a preference for the taller the better, I would imagine.
Oh, no, not necessarily. Taller than me would be great, but...
Taller than me?
Taller than me would be
taller than you.
Yes.
Okay, so if you had a guy who's 5'1" next to a guy who's 6 feet, all things being equal, which do you pick?
If everything was absolutely equal?
Sure.
They're literally the exact same person, but a height difference? Well,
sure.
Naturally, the taller person.
Okay, so height matters, which is quite literally a measurement, a numerical measurement.
I've only dated short kings.
I'm not saying that looks don't matter.
Bullshit.
I don't mean to. They just gravitate towards me.
Across the board, like, looks in general matter to most people. You can get into a relationship.
Hold on just a sec.
Donated $100. Girls, you are all pretty sure. But the only
Nick,
one there
the,
who is a 10 is
exposure?
Maddie, especially as she is sitting in the correct place. D.
Yo, Swordless, thank you, man. Very much appreciated. That's our homie from overseas. Good to see you in the chat, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
I don't give energy to things I don't think are important, like a scale, a rating scale.
But so you were saying that looks aren't that important?
Looks are, to an extent, for most people, important in dating, but delegating it into this scale and asking it over and over, it's not helpful.
It's super
it's harmful.
helpful. It's actually very, very helpful.
It's
and I can
not
explain
helpful.
it to you, but I do like to give people an opportunity to answer before I get into it. But it's
not
harmful.
Helpful.
It's what?
It's not helpful.
To know where you land in the sexual or dating marketplace when it comes to your physical appearance?
Yes.
Don't you think in order to have a fair assessment of the type of guy that you can get, you need to have an accurate self-assessment of the type of woman you are when it comes to your looks and to your personality?
Sure, but it's not just looks, and you guys really only do the scale based on looks.
Looks
it's
is
based on
extreme.
emotional availability and maturity and mentality, your daily life, whether you have integrity or not. And the same old tired question is about looks. It's just like if you. This is what I.
Can
The
you tilt
issue
the mic
here.
up towards you a little bit?
The issue here is that it's a dating podcast.
Correct.
But you're not really going any deeper than surface level on so many of these topics.
We go pretty
so
deep.
surface level on
We
a
go
lot of it.
Well, speaking of surface level, well, hold on. First off, I would just say to something that you'd said earlier, looks is, I would say, one of the ultimate things that matters when it comes to dating. If you don't have physical attractiveness, nothing gets off the ground.
Yeah.
So looks is incredibly important. But so you're saying that this question is perhaps superficial. Is that correct? I'll get to you in a sec. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just.
Can you speak straight into the mic, please?
Yes, it's superficial.
And you said it's the conversations we have on the show is very surface level.
We need to be
deeper.
Yes, we need to go deeper, I think. If you're looking for real change and not just entertainment and hits of entertainment and feeding people's egos, then you're just giving the same old tired narrative. People are rating each other's looks. You're not really helping people at large find a partner that is going to be solid for them when you're just reiterating the same narrative on physical attractiveness. What is the scale? It's the same question when men ask, what do you bring to the table?
You object to the question of men
yes,
asking
I do
what,
not. It's already, I'm not interested. If you're asking me.
That's a pretty reasonable question.
I understand from like a more superficial level what they're saying. Like, is this connection going to be reciprocal? But over time, men have started to ask this question to essentially have the woman already like subservient and just essentially explaining what she has to offer. Like, it's instead of getting to know somebody and not like drilling them with an unequal like power dynamic.
Unequal power dynamic.
Yes.
By asking, what do you mean by...
What do you bring to the table? It's already like this expectation.
Is that a common... Do you guys get asked that
get
question?
that a lot.
You get it a lot?
I'm not saying you
never-
don't get it a
I've
lot,
never
especially
gotten that.
now since
I've
it's
never
been
been asked that.
regurgitated. But since it's been regurgitated over and over on a lot of these shows, of course you're
Well,
gonna
are you...
get it.
Hold on. This question that you're referring to, what do you bring to the table? Are you talking within the context you're like one-on-one on a date with a guy? Because we are on a dating panel here. I'm not on a date with any of you. So we are having like... We can have meta conversations like this, but...
Right, when you're on a date. Like if somebody were to
Okay,
ask
we're
me...
not on a date right now. We're on a dating panel where we're talking about dating-related things. So
Yeah, no, I understand
it's within...
this.
I really had no intention of asking what you bring to the table, but perhaps it's a good question I ought to ask, but we can bring it back to the rating thing.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm
what-
just talking about dating in general. I'm not talking about you asking me specifically, obviously.
Okay.
That's an immediate red flag. I already know that he is like somewhat programmed by red pill rhetoric. And so it's just, I'm not interested because typically relationships end how they begin. And that's just, it's a red flag. Ladies,
You need not
unsolicited advice,
a guy,
it's a red flag.
A guy need not even be red pill to ask such a question.
Wait, what's a red
A guy
pill?
like a
Those
normal dude who's never even
specific
heard about red pill. Hold on.
terms.
A guy who's not even heard about red pill could ask somebody, so like, what do you bring to the table?
It would be extremely rare before ever any of this rhetoric was spread. It's not common.
But don't you
What's not?
expect when you're on a date and you're interested in a man that he has something that he has to bring to the table? Don't you expect him to bring something to the table? So therefore, don't you think that there should be some kind of equal
Like it's fair for him.
Yeah,
to
like
ask
some
that
ki-
as well.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, like he
Mm-hmm.
has things that he wants and he has things that he thinks, like are good for his life and
Mm-hmm.
some kind of woman that he's looking for. So therefore, isn't it a fair question to simply say, well, you can phrase it however you want. Maybe it's not what do you bring to the table, but maybe it's what kind of woman are you? What are you, how are you going to nurture me? How are you going to nurture our kids? Like, I think there's a lot of things that a woman can bring to the table, and therefore we should know that, and we should be able to say that when we're on a date. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't, I'm not like saying that this is necessarily like the worst thing ever when you're coming at it from a more balanced place, but specifically this community, and I get it, you want reciprocity, you want equal give and take, but when men ask this question, it's already the little thread that essentially
Alvin
is
Sam
telling
donated
you
$100
that they're
to the
into
dating
this
coach.
type
The
of
reason
rhetoric.
why men ask what women bring to the table is because society and women place a burden of performance on men to produce. But women somehow believe she gets a free ride off of a man's hard work.
Well put, Alvin Sam. That was lovely. Continue with your point. Go ahead.
Nobody's assuming that they get a free ride off of a man's hard work. It's about reciprocity. This specific question, and I could say it over and over again, and it's
You've
fine.
already explained it. Let's go back to
Yeah.
the 1 to 10 rating thing. So you object to the 1 to 10 question
Yeah,
because it's surface level, it's inauthentic.
Yes.
Do you believe
It's repetitive.
Do you believe authenticity is important?
Yes, hugely.
Okay. Well, do you think representing yourself realistically is important?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I noticed on your Instagram, almost every single photo of you has a face filter on it. Do you think that's inauthentic to be misrepresenting your physical appearance by using a face filter?
I'm not misrepresenting when it tells you that there's a face filter being used.
It usually doesn't tell you if there's.
If somebody were to ask, do you use a face filter?
Yeah, but it's why aren't you comfortable in your authentic self?
There are a lot of videos and photos where I have no face filters.
Okay, but most of them you're using a face filter. Why aren't you just comfortable being your authentic self?
I am comfortable being my
Why-
authentic
then
self.
why
It
do you
doesn't
feel
mean
the
that I
ne-
can't use a filter.
Why do you feel the need then to
I don't
use
feel
face
a
filters?
need to use a filter.
Are you on any dating apps?
Yes.
On the dating apps, do you post any photos which have you in a face filter? Or is it completely
Most
authentic?
of them are professional photos, so they're authentic. There's no
They've
like
been touched
Instagram
up?
filter. Some
they-
of them, yeah.
Isn't that inauthentic to misrepresent your physical appearance?
To an extent, yes. Do I look shockingly completely different than I do on my Instagram? I guess you guys could go tell me. But it's the same thing as like, do women wear makeup? Yes, women wear makeup. Most of the time it's very apparent that they're wearing makeup. Are they wearing heels? Are they falsifying their height? No, you can see that they're wearing heels. It's a totally different thing than pretending to be somebody that you're not. Like you're mirroring to somebody what they want mentally, emotionally, and you're not actually that.
Would you object to it?
Sometimes I use occasional filters, as many women and people do, and as long as it's like, do what you want. I don't judge or shame people, but like, I don't think, I know that I don't look very different than I do online.
Can you scoot your
so-
microphone that way just a bit? Just, would you object to a guy lying about his height on a dating app?
I mean, is it a huge discrepancy? Is it an inch or two? Is it intentional? Does he know that he's off? Or is he like, I don't know, maybe I'm 5'10", maybe I'm 5'9".
He's
He
5'9",
knows he's
but he
off.
puts he's 6 feet or 6'1".
Yes, that's like a 4-inch difference. It's pretty big.
Okay.
That's not like something that,
Do you have any photos on any of your dating apps where you're not wearing any makeup at all?
yes, one.
One.
Yes, I
Okay.
put one where it's just like no makeup, smiling, because I don't want them to all look the
Well,
same.
hot take
Yes.
here, like if you're wearing a full face of makeup on the dating app, you are kind of misrepresenting your physical attractiveness.
Men know that women wear makeup, and you can tell that when women are wearing makeup most of the time.
It doesn't, whether men know that women wear makeup or not, it doesn't change the impact, that initial visceral reaction to seeing an attractive woman. It doesn't change what the impact is having.
I don't really know what you're saying. I don't know how we got
Well, I
there.
mean, you're talking a lot about, you're accusing this question of being very surface level and inauthentic, but I'm seeing if you're consistent in your demand for authenticity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not being inauthentic by wearing a filter, especially when it says, hey, here's a filter, and here are other pictures of me not having a filter. And the filters that I use are so subtle. Anyways.
Are they?
Yes.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
I've seen a lot of face filters just in general, and they're pretty transformative.
Oh,
and let's not even talk about the transformative.
Yes, there are some very transformative face filters where you look like a different person, or you look like the opposite sex. A lot of those, the opposite sex ones are different. But anyways, like.
But okay, so I'll let the rest of the girls answer the question, but I'll kind of address why I do think it is important to have an accurate self-assessment of your own physical attractiveness, and if you can break that down to a number, then I think it's fine. What about you?
What question?
Your looks on a scale of 1 to 10.
Solid 7.
Okay, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say 7.58.
I'd say the same, 7, 8.
Like a 5.5 to 6.
I think like a 5.8.
8.
Okay. So the reason I think it's important is, and I've said this already, in order for you to be able to get a partner that's conceivably on your level, you need to have a reasonable self-assessment of where you stand. And I think it's the case, like, men aren't really getting gassed up in the same way that women are going to get gassed up by society, by their friends. Oh my God, you look so amazing, but you're fucking 400 pounds overweight.
Some guys like that though. I will say.
Sure, okay, there are some guys who have a fetish, whatever.
I feel like and it's not just fetish. Sometimes that's just like what they're into. Like looks wise, I think a lot of appearance wise, a lot of it is objective and subjective. Like instead of looking at objectively, like what you are on a scale.
If you're obese,
I could find not even just that though. Like obese, I could find one celebrity or one person like super attractive, I'm obsessed with, beautiful to me, and then I could tell my friend, they're like, ew, he's but ugly. Like I don't find him attractive. I find this guy attractive.
Sure, people have types and tastes and whatnot, but I mean, there is an objective standard though when it comes to beauty.
Yeah.